teachers would always tell me that you think you're going to dance through your life. I had to keep quiet. I met one of my maths teachers about 15 years back at a social gathering. I went and touched her feet. She gave me a big hug and she says, "Alokananda, I'm so proud of you." I was really happy. And then, of course, I told her. I said, "But miss, I have to remind you. You remember what you told me when I was young in school?" Says, "What?" Says, "You asked me whether I was going to dance through my life. That's exactly what I've done. I've just danced through my life." And it's all about what you want to do in life, not just for yourself, but how much you can give back from what you have received. When I walked into the correctional home, as we call it now, we don't call it a jail anymore here, I didn't go there to reform them. I just went in as a guest on the International Women's Day, and the girls wanted to learn dance. I agreed because I was like everybody else here. I wanted to know their life, what they do, what they think, and how do they feel. But I also knew that dance is something that can liberate you from within. That's how I felt. I've always been a very liberated person. You can call me a rebel. In the way I've lived my life, the way I dress, the way I do my work, I've always been a rebel. It's good to be a rebel as long as you are not hurting somebody else, and as long as you don't tamper with the other person's freedom of thought and expression. That's all that I've done. I wanted to teach the boys. When I saw the boys, I don't know, something in me, I felt really sorry for their mothers. I'm a mother myself. And any one of them could have been my child. No child is born a criminal. No child is born an offender. Things happen, and who are we to judge? Because we have not been in that situation before. We have not been in that situation ever. But you never know. You may fall into one. But we forget that. We are extremely subjective. It's so easy to point a finger at somebody. But it's not easy to bring that person back from the depths of darkness. I did nothing. I just treated them like human beings. I treated them as one of my children. And maybe they felt it, they realized it, and they started calling me Ma. I was not a Ma when I first went, I was Madam. But then I became a Ma, and I became a grandmother to their children. All I did was accept them and gradually started loving them. So when people say it's a dance therapy, I call it the love therapy. Because it is the love which they were missing out on. Because once you go into the prison, you are stamped for life. Nobody trusts you. Nobody loves you. Nobody cares about you. And even when they come out, they are treated like prisoners. If they have wronged, yes, they will be punished. They are being punished. But even after being punished, we keep on punishing them by not giving them that fair second chance. What I keep saying is that, you realize the value of something when you lose it. They had lost all their dignity, self-respect, trust once they walk into the prison. If they ever get it back, they'll never want to lose it again. And that is why I have so much faith in them. Because when we travel all over the country, and by train, by buses, and we are 60 of us, not one of them have ever even thought of running away, because they know how to value the trust which they have got the second time in their life, and they will never let me down, because they know that at the end of the day, I will be answerable not only to the authorities, but to the society, because I know they're wonderful, they're beautiful people, but they all deserve to be treated as human beings, if not anything else. You may not love them, but please accept them as a human being. Even their children, they grow up as somebody's child, as, you know, his or her mother is in jail, his or her father is in jail, so they are also supposed to be criminals. I am their grandmother. They call me Didun. All I can do is give them that normal life of a child, normal education of a child. I don't know how many of you will actually even trust that little child. If they come to you or come to your house, you will always have that in mind that, oh, her or his mother or father is in the jail, which is a very, very, very hard truth. And the other thing that I always say is, unless they're rehabilitated, unless we give them that second chance, not third, but a second chance, we will be breeding more and more criminals, because they will have no other way to survive other than go back to the dark world, and we can help them to come out of it. They have come out of it. Let us help them to be in that light. And all my boys and girls, over 100 of them, have been released. Not one of them have gone back to the dark world. Not even one. So I call this 100% success story, not for myself, but for them and the love. You know, love can change lives. And if you feel for them, feel for anybody, I don't think there's anybody in this world who will not respond to genuine love and compassion. It is a very, very natural feeling that one can feel, and we have to do that. You know, the three things that I've learned from them, I have been transformed. I have learned so much from them. The three things that I've learned from them, which I call the trident. One is to be able to love unconditionally. I don't expect anything in return. When they go out, when they're home, if they don't keep in touch with me, I don't feel bad. Because I have loved, not because they wanted me to love. I loved them because I wanted to. I felt that love for them. So I have nothing in expectation. They don't have to love me, but they do. The second one is to be non-judgmental. I don't judge anybody anymore. I don't even judge a dance competition anymore. There are no exams in my dance school, because competition is something that can even estrange you from your friends, because you just want to win. I go for excellence. I encourage my students to excel, not to compete. To reach your dream, you need not push somebody down and ruin his or her dream. Let us all follow our path, and our capability will take us to wherever we want to reach. Even if we don't reach, there is always another way. I was not academically geared, so I chose another path, and I've given my best to it, and I've got back so much. So I'm completely non-judgmental. And the third is to be able to forgive. Don't we make mistakes? Don't we want to be forgiven? So why can't we forgive others? Only when you forgive others, you will be forgiven. And when you can forgive, it actually makes you feel good. And that is something I've learned while being with these people who people don't forgive. But I have, and others have forgiven me for whatever wrong I have done. Because according to the society, when I first started this, I was not, people did not really encourage me. Firstly, it was the jail and they were criminals. Why should I do anything good for the criminals? Because they have harmed others. But they're human beings too. We all do wrong work sometime in life. We want to be forgiven. So these are the three things which I have learned from them. And I would like to just talk about that other section of people, the transgenders. Please, please be compassionate. Please treat them as one of us. According to our mythology, our scriptures, Ardhanarishwar, we worship Ardhanarishwar, half man and half woman, Shiv and Parvati. We worship Ardhanarishwar as a god. But when it comes to our society, do we really accept them? Do we really have any compassion? We have to always put ourselves in other people's shoes before we judge. And they have not wronged. They are also God's children. God has made them the way they are. And that is not wrong. They are just maybe different from you and me. Any child could be born in my family. Would we like others to push them away? Treat them the way we sometimes treat, especially in our country? I think it's time we sit back and think. I'm an extremely emotional person. I'm completely ruled by my heart. My head has to take over sometimes when I'm doing the work. But I think it is the emotion that eventually makes you what you are. It's not always what you have got materially out of life. You know, when you give, you receive. Sometimes I'm asked, how can you love so much? How can you love so many people at the same time? I said, you know, unless I give, I got so much. Unless I empty it, I will not get more. So I cannot be selfish when it comes to love. I think if you can love unconditionally, the world will be a different place. You will be a different person. Because love and dance, they liberate. When you dance, you feel good. I'm telling every one of you, when you feel down, shut the door, put on some music, and just dance. You'll see how good it feels. So let's liberate ourselves through movements of the body, mind, and soul, and above all, love. Thank you so much for giving me this platform to share my journey with you.